It's midnight and you're tuned into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan, and here are the top stories. Prime Minister's visit to China secures nearly 1 billion ringgit in potential investments. And death of Zara Khairina not likely from accidental fall or push. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim wrapped up his 4-day visit to China, having secured nearly 1 billion ringgit in potential investments and further strengthened the Putrajaya-Beijing relationship. Malaysia also gained China's backing to accelerate its bid to join the BRICS economic bloc. Anwar described the visit as highly successful, highlighting the close ties between the two countries. Earlier on Wednesday, Anwar and his wife, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Ismail, attended China's Victory Day parade in Tiananmen Square, Beijing, alongside foreign leaders and dignitaries. The event marked the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Anwar became the first Malaysian Prime Minister invited to witness such a historic parade, which showcased China's military assets and defense readiness. Speaking at a media conference afterwards, he said the event conveyed an important message, particularly for younger generations.
Pengalaman kita sambut perdamaian dan penyelesaian setelah Perang Dunia Kedua ini dan cara rakyat Cina bangkit menentang apa sahaja bentuk keganasan dan penjajahan atau percobaan menakluk negara mereka, itu sebagai pengajaran kepada masyarakat kini, terutama anak-anak muda.
In addition to securing Beijing's support for Malaysia's BRICS membership, the Prime Minister also outlined the key points of his discussions with China's top leadership.
Perbincangan yang lebih mendalam dengan Presiden Xi Jinping dan Premier Li Qiang tentunya tentang pembangunan infrastruktur, pelabuhan, AI, dan hal-hal pendidikan dan kerjasama dua hala yang harus kita tingkatkan untuk memberi manfaat kepada rakyat Malaysia.
During Anwar's visit, a number of leading Chinese companies also pledged to invest in Malaysia, including e-commerce giant JD.com and cosmetics company Rienlon Corporation. On another matter, Anwar said that the proposal to extend the East Coast Rail Link ECRL project to Rantau Panjang, Kelantan, near the Thai border, remains at the preliminary discussion stage. According to Anwar, the proposal was discussed with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Qiang during a bilateral meeting on Tuesday.
No, this initial discussion. The team will have to follow through the details, the costing, mode of payment, and because it's a continuation, then probably the cost will be much less.
The Prime Minister also expressed hope that the proposal would be implemented to spur development in underdeveloped areas. The 668-kilometre ECRL project, stretching from the Klang Valley to Kota Baru, is scheduled for completion in December 2026. At the same media conference, Anwar reiterated his call for stronger international governance through reform processes. This follows the United Nations' failure to manage several issues, including violence by the Zionist regime in Gaza.
Setiausaha Agung PBB Guterres pun dia sebut tentang keperluan Pertubuhan Bangsa-Bangsa Bersatu itu buat beberapa perubahan dan reform. Kita bicara tentang demokrasi penyertaan.
He also stressed that the world body should not be tied to its original terms of establishment and serve solely the interests of certain countries. He added that criticism of the UN is not new, noting that other nations have previously called for the organization to become more democratic. A nationwide tour will be held beginning in Kuala Lumpur to gather feedback on the proposed establishment of an anti-bullying tribunal. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadil said this will include suggestions for improving the laws and mechanisms governing the tribunal.
Ini adalah usaha untuk mendapat lebih banyak maklum balas, input daripada orang awam dan maklumat terperinci termasuk lokasi, waktu dan cara untuk terlibat akan disusuli oleh pejabat Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Azalina.
He added that the Cabinet was briefed on the special committee meeting held on Tuesday to address bullying issues. Among the matters raised was a recommendation from the Human Rights Commission of Malaysia, Suhakam, that the tribunal's jurisdiction be limited to cases involving individuals under 18 years of age. In another development, Fahmi said the Cabinet has instructed the Home Ministry to enhance security measures for events, particularly those involving the Malay rulers.
Apa yang berlaku di Ipoh, Perak, di mana Kementerian Dalam Negeri telah diminta untuk meneliti aspek-aspek mempertingkat keselamatan terutama bagi raja-raja supaya tidak berlaku apa-apa keadaan yang tidak diingini. Dan Kementerian Dalam Negeri akan menyusuli.
Last Sunday, a 41-year-old woman was arrested after she dashed towards the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, during the state-level National Day parade. The suspect has been remanded for 3 days to assist with investigations. Moving on, the inquest into the death of Zahra Khairina Mahathir began on Wednesday with proceedings centred on testimony from a forensic pathology expert at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, called as the first witness. Dr. Jessie Hugh told the Kota Kinabalu Coroner's Court that the teenager's death was unlikely to have been caused by an accidental fall or being pushed from the 3rd floor of her school dormitory. Dr. Hugh, who has served as a forensic pathologist at the hospital since 1998, is the first of 68 witnesses scheduled to testify. She explained that based on a site inspection and a comparison between the victim's height of 154 centimeters and the corridor's concrete railing height of 118 centimeters, it was improbable that the victim had fallen or been pushed from a standing position. Because the railing reached above the victim's center of gravity, more than 3/4 of her height, Dr. Hughes said it would have been more likely that she had climbed over the concrete barrier, crossed the metal bar, and stood on the ledge. She added that she had reviewed the victim's medical records and conducted a site inspection on August 2nd. The testimony, which began at 2 p.m., was adjourned at 4:30 p.m. and will resume on Thursday morning. Meanwhile, the Coroner's Court has set Thursday next week for a site visit to the school where Zahra was found unconscious in the early hours of July 16th. The visit to Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Agama Tun Datu Mustafa in Kinarut Papa will allow the court to conduct an on-site identification of the location where the incident occurred. Earlier on Wednesday, the court allowed the parents of the late Zahra, Noraida Lamat and Mahathir Hashim alias Marikin, along with the 5 juvenile offenders represented by their respective lawyers, to be recognised as interested parties in the inquest.
Inquest ni tiada gag order. Tiada gag order. Cuma sekiranya nanti bila saksi kanak-kanak bermula, maka proceeding inquest akan berjalan dalam sidang kamera. Maksudnya tertutuplah. Saksi kanak-kanak kan.
So when the time comes, I think the court have to respect the wishes of the child. They must be protected. That is why we are here.
The Sabah Law Society's application to take part in the proceeding was also approved, while a representative from the Education Ministry was permitted to attend as an observer. In a separate case, the investigation into a Form 3 student who allegedly fell from the 3rd floor of his school dormitory in Sabak Bernam is nearing completion. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Shazli Kahar said that once finalised, the investigation papers will be submitted to the Attorney General's chambers for further action. Shazli explained that all CCTV footage related to the case has been reviewed and that the on-site investigation has been completed. He also said the victim, Ahmad Irfan Ahmad Hanafi, is still undergoing treatment at Sungai Buloh Hospital and has not yet regained consciousness. On August 31st, Shazli said more than 12 witnesses, including students and school staff, had given their statements but declined to reveal the exact number. He also stated that investigations were being conducted from multiple angles, including student safety, dormitory management, and the social background of the victim and his peers. 15-year-old Ahmad Irfan was severely injured after falling from the third floor of his school dormitory on August 24th. The case is being investigated under Section 31 of the Child Act. Meanwhile, the Education Minister said boarding school safety audits are successfully underway, with some 110 schools checked so far. The inspections focused on warden duty rosters, complaint records and the condition of closed-circuit cameras. According to Education Director General Muhammad Ahmad, the schools audited included fully residential schools, central hostels, rural hostels and daily school hostels throughout the country. 54 boarding schools underwent safety audits just last week alone.
Sebanyak 49 daripada 54 buah sekolah berasrama mempunyai bilangan warden yang mencukupi dan pencahayaan waktu malam yang baik.
Checks also found that 24 schools had closed-circuit cameras in good working condition. Azam added that anti-bullying intervention programs are also being implemented at all audited boarding schools. Now, UMNO has announced that its Vice President, Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, will head a special party team tasked with improving the Urban Renewal Bill. The team will be responsible for examining and refining every aspect of the bill in detail. UMNO Secretary-General Dr. Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki said in a statement on Wednesday that the results of the review will be presented at the Urban Malays Convention, which is scheduled to take place at the end of this month. This convention will see the involvement of UMNO's top leadership from states and divisions nationwide, Malay political parties, non-governmental organizations, academics and civil society members. The resolution at the convention will then be handed to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. The proposed law seeks to replace outdated legislation and regulations governing the redevelopment of dilapidated urban areas. The debate on the bill has been pushed to the next Dewan Rakyat sitting in October to enable more comprehensive engagement with all stakeholders. Malaysia's semiconductor sector is expected to remain resilient despite Washington's 100% tariff imposition. This is because local producers are not solely dependent on the United States, as Malaysia also supplies semiconductor products to many other countries.
Kerajaan telah menyasarkan untuk mewujudkan 10 syarikat Malaysia dalam reka bentuk dan pembungkusan termaju yang mempunyai nilai pendapatan tahunan $1 bilion dan 100 syarikat Malaysia berkaitan semiconductor berpendapatan tinggi dengan nilai pendapatan tahunan $1 bilion.
Speaking in the Dewan Negara, Liu said 5 local integrated circuit design companies have already been established. Under the National Semiconductor Strategy, Malaysia has already recorded more than 100 billion ringgit in investments as of the first quarter of this year, comprising 52 billion ringgit in domestic investments and over 49 billion from foreign investors. The investments have also created 23,000 new jobs, in addition to providing technical training for more than 4,000 local engineers. A global bond sell-off extended into Asia on Wednesday, with yields in Japan hitting record levels, while gold reached a new peak as investors fret about public finances in countries from Japan to the United States. Investors in Japan are also reacting to concerns that Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba might soon be forced to step down after the number 2 in his ruling Liberal Democratic Party offered to quit on Tuesday over July's disastrous upper house election. Yields on 30-year Japanese government bonds rose to an all-time high of 3.29%, while 20-year yields reached 2.69%, their highest since 1999. Japan is due to hold a 30-year bond auction on Thursday, though buyer interest has been muted. Gold also reached a record high of $3,546.96 an ounce on Wednesday. Shabu worth more than 6 million ringgit seized. This and more after this breather.
Sempena Bulan Kebangsaan, semarakkan semangat Malaysia Madani, rakyat disantuni.
Sakit tengkuk, ketahui punca dan rawatannya.
Gempa bumi lemah di Segamat. Adakah Malaysia bersedia berdepan dengan risiko sekiranya berlaku gegaran seterusnya?
Tingkatkan keselamatan di jejambat, terutama sekali bagi penunggang motosikal.
Soal wang, teladani cara berbelanja Rasulullah SAW.
Isnin hingga Jumaat, jam 10 pagi. Stream juga melalui tonton hanya di
TV3.
Kita orang Sarawak, macam-macam aktiviti best minggu kita di studio tonton Drama Sangat. Ada gaya macam ratu, pertandingan ratu etnik Drama Sangat dah tunggu. Untuk adik-adik, tunjukkan bakat Nurana Ejen Ali sambil bergambar dengan maskot Ejen Ali. Yang hati kental, boleh cuba masuk trail rumah hantu. Dan mestilah personaliti media prima dan artis Drama Sangat pun ada. Selfie banyak-banyak, okey? Jumpa kita semua di Karnival Jom Heboh Sarawak, dataran perayaan Petra Jaya Kuching 5 hingga 7 September ini. Jom, jom, jom!
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Wanita 68 tahun Malaysia Merdeka.
Pasti banyak nostalgia manis waktu cuti merdeka kan?
Cuaca macam ni teringin pula nak hirup sup panas.
Pilih je sup ayam, sup berkrim, sup gearbox pun ada.
Dalam dunia digital sekarang penipuan semakin berleluasa.
Apa yang harus kita ketahui sebagai pengguna untuk melindungi diri kita?
Jangan lupa anak-anak juga ada hak mereka.
Kadang-kadang kita yang leka mengenainya.
Dan untuk hari cuti ini kami bawakan pelbagai manisan untuk anda.
Ada kek, jus, agar-agar dan macam-macam lagi.
Semuanya di WSHI TV3
dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Welcome back. A drug trafficking syndicate in Kelantan was crippled after police seized over 204 kilograms of shabu worth 6.5 million ringgit following a raid in Kampung Kasar, Pasir Mas last week. The raid also led to the arrest of a local sundry shop owner believed to be the syndicate's transporter. The 7 p.m. joint operation on August 25th was conducted by the Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department (NCID) and the Kelantan Police Contingent. A search of a nearby bushy area uncovered 7 sacks containing 196 packets of shabu. Bukit Aman NCID Director Datuk Hussein Omar Han said the drugs were smuggled in from Thailand via illegal routes in Rantau Panjang and hidden in forested areas to evade detection before being collected by other syndicate members. The drug supply is believed to have been intended for the Klang Valley market, enough to serve more than 1 million users. During the raid, police also seized 2 vehicles and 708 ringgit from the suspect's bank account. The suspect, in his 20s, has 5 prior convictions and also tested positive for shabu. Police are now tracking down the remaining members of the syndicate, which has been active since July, and investigating its entire network, including overseas links. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Also in Kelantan, 4 rubber tappers were remanded by the Kota Baru Magistrates Court on Wednesday over the murder of a man whose body was discovered floating in Sungai Kelantan last week. The suspects, in their 40s and 50s, were each issued a 7-day remand order until next Tuesday to assist police investigations into the case. They were arrested at separate locations in Teriang, Pahang on Tuesday night. The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. On August 24th, the body of an unidentified man with neck wounds was found floating in the river near Sultan Yahya Petra Bridge. Authorities classified the case as murder after a post-mortem confirmed that the victim died from the wounds. The victim has since been identified, and police are now searching for relatives and witnesses. A passport forging syndicate catering to foreigners seeking to pass the Foreign Workers Medical Examination Monitoring Agency (FOMIMA) inspections has been dismantled with the arrest of 5 Bangladeshi men aged between 19 and 41 on Tuesday. Immigration Director General Datuk Zakaria Shahban said 2 of the suspects are believed to be the masterminds behind the syndicate. During the operation, enforcement officers raided 2 residences, one on Jalan Jelawat and another at Jalan Razak Mansion in Kuala Lumpur, which were being used by the syndicate for its operations. Initial checks revealed that 3 of the suspects held valid temporary employment visit passes. One was a student and another had no valid travel documents. Authorities also seized a variety of forged passports, 11 mobile phones and cash totaling 2,100 ringgit. According to Zakaria, syndicate members would impersonate unfit foreign workers to pass for medical checkups. The photos in the forged passports would be of the syndicate members, while the personal details belong to the Formima applicants. The syndicate had been operating for around 3 months, charging between 150 and 250 ringgit for each forged passport. All suspects are being investigated under the Immigration Act. "25 people killed in 3 attacks. The details when Nightline returns."
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Wanita 68 tahun Malaysia merdeka.
Pasti banyak nostalgia manis waktu cuti merdeka kan?
Cuaca macam ni teringin pula nak hirup sup panas.
Pilih je sup ayam, sup berkrim, sup gearbox pun ada.
Dalam dunia digital sekarang penipuan semakin berleluasa.
Apa yang harus kita ketahui sebagai pengguna untuk melindungi diri kita?
Jangan lupa anak-anak juga ada hak mereka.
Kadang-kadang kita yang leka mengenainya.
Dan untuk hari cuti ini kami bawakan pelbagai manisan untuk anda.
Ada kek, jus, agar-agar dan macam-macam lagi.
Semuanya di WSHI TV3
dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Africa's Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Lelaki itu lemah. Saya ada jin itu. Oh, boleh tunaikan unlimited rewards. Ingatkan lelaki jin tak cukup satu.
Lagi layan dengan Tonton Up. Rewards non-stop. Nak ni, nak tu. Semua untuk korang. Langgan Tonton RM9.90 je. Baru puas.
News from the foreign front. The leader of Thailand's Bumjaitai party, Anutin Chanvirakul, said on Wednesday that he has the support of 146 lawmakers from 7 groups and parties in his bid to become Prime Minister. Speaking to reporters in Bangkok, Anutin said he was committed to the conditions laid out by the People's Party, the biggest party in Parliament, including House dissolution.
ผมขอยืนยันว่าพวกเราทุกคนในที่นี้จะไม่ทำให้เจตนารมณ์และความเสียสละของทุกท่านสูญเปล่าและจะรักษาข้อตกลงทั้ง5ข้อนี้ที่ให้ไว้กับพรรคประชาชนตลอดระยะเวลา4 เดือนนับตั้งแต่เราจะเข้าไปทำงานในฐานะรัฐบาล
Thailand's largest opposition party had earlier said that its lawmakers would provide the votes needed for Anutin to become Prime Minister on the condition that he agrees to dissolve Parliament within 4 months. The People's Party, however, will not join his government. Earlier, Thailand's acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai submitted a petition to dissolve Parliament following a recent court decision to remove Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra from office. In other news, about 300 members of the Indonesian Women's Alliance API rallied outside Parliament in the capital Jakarta on Wednesday, demanding an end to state violence. In the rally, API leaders called on President Prabowo Subianto to halt the use of the military and police against civilians and to withdraw soldiers from security operations. They urged the President, the Defence Minister and the National Armed Forces Commander to pull back troops deployed alongside police and also demanded the resignation of the National Police Chief and the release of all detainees held without charge. The demonstration comes after a week of unrest that has killed at least 10 people. At least 53 people, including more aid seekers, have been killed in Israeli attacks across Gaza since dawn on Wednesday. In western Gaza City, an Israeli helicopter strike on a residential building killed 5 people, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child. Another home was struck by an army helicopter in central Gaza City, killing at least 3 people. Zionist forces also reportedly dropped grenades on 3 schools sheltering displaced people in Sheikh Radwan, setting tents on fire. These came a day after more than 100 Palestinians, including journalists, were killed, with homes and shelters coming under attack. At least 25 people were killed in 3 attacks in Pakistan, including 14 who died after a suicide bomber targeted a political rally in the southwestern province of Balochistan. The explosion, which occurred in the parking lot of the stadium in the provincial capital Quetta on Tuesday, where hundreds of members of the Balochistan National Party had gathered, also wounded dozens of people. Another attack in Balochistan claimed 5 lives, while 6 soldiers were killed after a suicide attack on their base in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. So far, no group immediately claimed responsibility for either attack. Switching to sports, football, the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup qualification, the national Under-23 football team got off to a disappointing start in their campaign after suffering a 1-0 defeat to Lebanon on Wednesday in Pathum Thani, Thailand. Nafuzi Zain's squad took to the field, hopeful of a victory in their Group F opener, but both teams appeared evenly matched, with the score still goalless at half-time. The breakthrough finally came in the 83rd minute when Ali El Fadl found the net to hand Lebanon a decisive lead over Malaysia. With little time to respond, the national team was forced to settle for defeat in their opening match. The loss now means they must win their remaining matches against Mongolia on Saturday and host Thailand on September 9. And turning to hockey, the 2025 Asia Cup, the Speedy Tigers came alive in the last 15 minutes to beat China 2-0 in a Super 4 match in Bihar, India on Wednesday. Defender Syed Shafiq Syed Cholan gave Malaysia the lead off his second penalty corner in the 45th minute. Malaysia kept up the pressure and just 2 minutes later, Rahimullah Anwar Isuk struck from close range, sealing a commanding 2-0 victory. World number 12 Malaysia need another win from their remaining 2 matches against world number 7 India on Thursday and defending champion South Korea on Saturday to qualify for the final. Marks 80 years since the end of World War II. With that, I'm Muhammed. Hamdan. Thanks for watching and take care.